Well, it was a pretty nice day today throughout the state of South Carolina. We had some clear skies, at least from where I was. Clear skies, nice, dry conditions today. And that will try to continue for the majority of us as we go into tomorrow. But dry, mild conditions continue tonight all the way through Wednesday under the high pressure. But a weak cold front Wednesday night going into Thursday, bringing spotty to isolated showers. Also, we will see a warming trend as we go into Friday through the weekend with above normal temperatures, maybe some 90s as we get into next week. And then also, a mostly dry pattern continues into early next week with only minor rain chances possible from weak disturbances. And that's pretty much what we're going to talk about tonight. So if you've not hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so. Also hit the subscribe button. We are right now at 732 subscribers, trying to get to that main goal of 800. So what's currently going on? Well, you can see right now that there is indeed no rainfall going on throughout the entire state of South Carolina right now. We are nice and dry right now as we speak. But if we scroll our way out, you definitely can see that we do have some rainfall going on. We do have some snowfall going on throughout parts of the state, and you can definitely see the rainfall up here in New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana. Also down here in Georgia, Florida. And then over here inside of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, California, all rainfall going on throughout these areas right now. Now, what about for our cloud cover? Well, cloud cover right now seems to be pretty okay. We have cloud cover Midlands down towards the coastal areas, but the upstate not really receiving any sort of cloud cover right now as we speak. And if we go and look at that cloud cover for the future, if we push this forward, one thing I will say, as I'm going to have to refresh this real quick, one thing I will say is that that cloud cover will try to get away from us a little bit as we go into the morning, but it's still going to be mainly inside that low country Grand Strand area. Even as we move into later in the morning, going into the afternoon, still cloud cover activity seems pretty prominent as you go throughout parts of the low country Grand Strand areas, maybe even a little bit of the Midlands as you go into the evening tomorrow. Watching for some more cloud cover. There goes the front. You can easily tell where the front is right here as it goes on and pushes its way throughout the state of South Carolina here as we go into around 11 o'clock p.m. or so on tomorrow. So cloud cover will be kind of all over the place as we move throughout the next 24 hours, but as we move throughout like the next 40 hours or so, that cloud cover will be trying to slowly leave us. Now, in terms of our current temperatures right now, it seems like that we are right now around 63 Summerville, 68 Charleston, Beaufort, 62 Orangeburg, 64 Georgetown, 64 Myrtle Beach, 63 North Myrtle Beach, 60 Sumter, Lugoff, 62 in Columbia, 60 in Newberry, as well as Lawrence, 63 Greenville, 61 in Spartanburg, 59 York, Rock Hill. Air quality for tonight seems to be pretty good. Most of us are inside that good category. In fact, 99.8% of us are. There's a little area right there along that South Carolina, North Carolina border that does have a moderate risk there, but it's definitely not the worst. Everybody should be good tonight in terms of air quality. Now for our low temperatures right now, we're talking about 50 Spartanburg, Rock Hill, 51 Winnsboro, as well as 52 in Columbia, 53 Sumter, and 53 in Kingstree, 60 Georgetown, and 62 in Myrtle Beach, 64 in Charleston, and 67 in Hilton Island, 54 inside of Barnwell, Aiken, 51 Greenwood, 50 Lawrence, and 52 also inside of Anderson. And then what about for our high temperatures for tomorrow? We're seeing around 78 Greenville, Spartanburg, 78 Georgetown, 75 in Myrtle Beach, 79 in Charleston, and 81 in Walterboro, Moncks Corner, Barnwell, 82 in Aiken, 84 in Columbia, 80 Greenwood, Newberry, 79 in Winnsboro, and 83 in Orangeburg. Rainfall, like I said, not the worst. In fact, not even as widespread. We're really just seeing that chance for that isolated shower activity, maybe even a thunderstorm chance. But you can definitely see totals getting up to around a hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch in most spots in the low country. You see maybe a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch. In some areas like Hilton Head Island may even get up to around a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. So the possibility is there. Really just determines on what's going to happen. SPC outlook, no thunderstorms really for tonight, but tomorrow, coastal areas, Myrtle Beach all the way down through Hilton Head Island, thunderstorms are possible. And not only the coastal areas, but look at some of the inland areas up there. Let me see if I can call out some areas. Areas like Beaufort is included in there. Areas like Hollywood is included. Areas like Somerville is included in there. Areas like Allendale, Georgetown is included in there as well, going up towards Plantersville. All of these areas, thunderstorms are definitely possible if you have that convection to get going. If that convection gets going, the ingredients are there. Now for Thursday, it does not look too bad. In fact, we have no risk of any sort of thunderstorms on Thursday. Fire weather, not expected at this time. Excessive rainfall, not expected at this time. So what about the crazy score? If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how active our conditions are throughout the entire state. And right now we're at an 8. We're at an 8. Why? Well, mainly because very quiet, mild night under high pressure. We're talking about clouds trying to get away from us. Completely dry, no chance of really any sort of precipitation. Lows are going to be kind of mild. Lowest obviously in the upstate. And that's pretty much it here. So let's go and look at the models now. Because honestly, models are looking like kind of like the next thing that we're kind of looking at right now, just because not too much is really happening as we go throughout the short term. So we're really just going to have to look at these models here. Also, just going back to check in, we've had around a good 7 people tune in, and we only have 3 likes. So if you're a part of that group of 4 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Go on and do so right now. So we're going to start off here at around 9 o'clock p.m. We want to push this forward. And one thing I will say that as we go on and push this into 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, going into around 4 o'clock in the morning, going into 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, all the way through into around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, you see shower activity going on throughout the low country, going on throughout the southern Midlands, also going in through parts of the Midlands as well. That goes all the way through into tomorrow evening, and then by the time you get into Thursday, 12 o'clock in the morning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of that rainfall tries to move through. All of that rainfall does try to get out. Well, that rainfall does try to get out. Also, I am looking at the chat right now, and one of my friends is in there. He has his song that's releasing May 16th. If you want to go in and check that out, you definitely can. That's not spam or anything like that. That's actually there. If you want to check it out, S. Aiken III, that's his music platforms right there if you want to go in and check that out. Song releasing, what he said, May the 16th. So yes, that is real. That is actually real. But back to this. Rainfall, like I said, it's going to really just stay inside the low country. It's not going to really go outside of the low country too much. Southern Midlands, maybe a little bit. And then maybe a little bit inside the Grand Strand area. Maybe a little bit inside of the PD areas. But it's not really going to do too much after that. Maybe Wednesday you may see some in the upstate. You may see some inside the Midlands. But, I mean, you're not seeing too much here. You're not seeing too much here. And even if you go on and look at the long-term future, we go on and push this forward through Thursday, going into Friday, going into Saturday. Even as we go into Sunday of this weekend, still not a whole lot of rainfall. Not a whole lot. We get through Sunday, going into Monday. Sunday may bring some rainfall here and there. Sunday definitely could as we go into this weekend. Monday goes along, going into Tuesday. And then as we go all the way into Wednesday and Thursday of next week, that's finally when we start to see some more active conditions start to move into the state. But it takes a long time, though. It does take a long time to try and get there. It gets through pretty much all of this weekend. And then as we get into the week after, finally we start to see some more rainfall starting to go throughout the state. Now watch as you go through Thursday and Friday of next week. What do you notice? You notice that there is an uptick in terms of activity. Uptick in terms of activity. You go through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, still that rainfall activity kind of dissipates a little bit, but it's still kind of there even as you move a little bit into the week after that. So that goes into the last couple of days in May. But the whole point that I'm trying to make here is if we go throughout the next 300 to 400 hours or so, is that the rest of this week going into next week, it's not that active, except for that little cold front that we're going to have tomorrow going into Thursday. It's not going to be that active. Not going to be that active at all. And then as we go on and go through into next week, that's finally when we start to see some more active activity. So now that that is out of the way, what's going on in terms of our totals as we go throughout the next 384, 400 hours or so? Well, for right now, according to the GEFS, this is the ensembles right here. It's showing around an inch, maybe even close to 2 inches or so as we go into the next 300, 400 hours, obviously. So we are still looking at the potential for some more rainfall, but it's still not enough to get rid of this drought. This drought is still going on. This drought is still showing its true colors as we continue throughout pretty much the next month or so, like next couple of months, next, however many months it will be that we still continue with this drought. Obviously, time will tell, but this drought right now is just too strong to be, to just go away in like a month or two. We're going to need a good amount of rainfall. Unless we get like a significant flash flooding event, obviously this thing is not going to go away. This thing is not going to go away that easily. And the fact that we're on a below average week this week in terms of precipitation, that just makes things worse. And if we go on and look at the European ensembles right now, this is the GFS. This is the European one. European one, a bit more on the 1.5 to 2 inch side, but more on a meanish level. When I say meanish, I mean more average. And it shows a lot more closer totals statewide. Shows around 1 inch and 3/10. You see around 1 inch and 6/10, maybe even close to 1 inch and 9/10 for some areas. So it shows a good amount. Will it fully make its way throughout the state, though, as we move throughout the next 300, 400 hours or so? I say this, one of my famous sayings, only time will tell. Only time will tell here. But rainfall definitely is in our future. Just not a whole lot to get rid of this drought. But it will give us some beneficial rainfall. Now, temperature-wise, as we go on and move into like the next couple of days or so, going into the rest of this week, you're going to see cooler temperatures, and especially as the cold front moves in on Wednesday and Thursday, you're going to definitely see those cooler temperatures moving their way through. Now, watch as you get into Saturday, watch as you get into Sunday. What do you see? Warming up, 10 to 11 degrees above average. Watch as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, still above average. We go into around Thursday, going into Friday, and still we see those warmer temperatures continue to kind of infiltrate our area. Not only as we move throughout next week, but as we go into next weekend, you still will see warmer temperatures. But I will say this, cooler temperatures will obviously not be done. I mean, you can definitely still see some cooler air infiltrations going on here and there from time to time. But warmer air dominates as we go throughout the rest of this month. And I said, honestly, like a week ago or so, maybe even more, that the beginning of the month was going to be more cooler temperature based, while the ending of the month would be more warmer temperature based. And it seems like that is what we are looking at here. And we're already starting to see that switch kind of, after this cold front that we get here on Wednesday going into Thursday, we're going to start seeing those temperatures really starting to ramp up. And it's really going to be time for short seasons, as 90s will be coming. You can even see right here on the map. These are our actual temperatures right here. We go into tomorrow. We obviously know cold front's moving through, but that won't stop us from reaching the 80s tomorrow. Watch as we go into Wednesday night, Thursday. Thursday bringing in some more 70s, some more 80s. Friday comes along. Friday we have some more 70s, some more 80s again. Then as we go into Saturday, we're around 87, 88, 89 or so. As we go into the weekend, going into Sunday, we are seeing more 80s, even some 90s as well. Now watch as we get through Monday, watch as we get through Tuesday, around 90 degrees or so throughout the majority of the week next week. Maybe even some mid-90s as well. And yes, maybe even getting close to some high 90s potentially as we get throughout some days next week. Now watch as we go through Thursday. Going into Friday, things start to chill out a little bit, not too much, but you're not seeing as widespread, but it will ramp back up really quickly as we get into the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, still showing some more 80s. Now, this is just one model. If you want to see a mean of all the models kind of put together, all the members put together, what does the mean, like the averages say? Well, the averages right now are saying around the high 80s, maybe low 90s as we continue throughout the week next week. We go into next weekend, and what do we see? We don't see 90s, like high 80s, but we do see some mid 80s still. But some more higher 80s are definitely still in our future as we go into that last week of May there. So not next week, but the last week of May. We could still be seeing more 90s. So this is definitely a warmer, more favorable pattern for the people who want the 90s. If you want the 90s, well, these next 2 weeks for you may be pretty good for you. May be pretty good for you. If you don't want the 90s, if you want more like a 70-ish type of weather for your highs, unfortunately for you, it's not really going to be the best weather for you as we move throughout the next week or two. So that's pretty much all I have to say here in terms of the long-term future. Hopefully everybody is clear on everything that's going on. And we had no droughts, we had no earthquakes today. So let's go on real quick and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. Well, thank you so much for that. He also says, please remember to go in and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also, share with everyone that you know. It's free, and it helps the channel grow. He's absolutely correct. Right now, we've had around a good 10, 11 people-ish to tune in tonight, and we've only had 5 likes. So if you're a part of that group that have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It's free, it's free, it's free. Then my Aunt Lewis says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. I pray that everyone had a great day. Well, thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris says, got you around 72 degrees here in Moncks Corner. Currently, it's around 62. Well, at my house right now, it is currently a good 64, and it got up to around 71 today. Maya Lewis says, today in Georgetown, it was chilly. Today in Georgetown, it was chilly. Well, thank you so much for that weather report for where you were. Then Mr. Chris says, also was very windy here. We're doing better, thanks for asking. And then Maya Lewis says, today's high was around 69. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. And then Maya Lewis again says, we had very high winds. Currently, it's around 64 degrees. Then as we continue down even more, Maya Lewis said, I finished my planting today. I can use some rain in my garden. 80s on Sunday. That sounds great for the gender reveal on Sunday. Well, hopefully that goes well. Hopefully that goes well for you. Then my friend Malachi says, guys, hit the like button. This is your future top meteorologist. He's absolutely correct. I mean, hit the like button. We've had more people here tune in and not hit the like button at all. So let's go on and get that like button up. Let's go on and get it up. And that's all I'd have to say here for the state here. But, as you know, it's Top Fan of the Night time. And so, if you don't know what Top Fan of the Night is, it's pretty much I ask a question to see who was paying attention and who is, I guess we should say, capable and who is going to get that Top Fan of the Night for tonight. Mr. Chris has been on a winning streak. We're going to see if he can end it. If somebody can end it, or if he's going to continue. But you had to be here kind of for the beginning for it, because this one's going to be a bit of a tricky question if you weren't here earlier. The question is, there was one part of the state where cloud cover was not present, and I'm talking about regions. I'm talking about the upstate, Midlands, Low Country, PD, Grand Strand. Which one of those areas was it that did not have the cloud cover for tonight? So if you were here early and you were paying attention, it should be a pretty easy question for you. It should be really easy for you to get it. But let's go in and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina while the chat goes on and answers that. We're going to talk about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. The reason why we talk about them, obviously, like I said, they tune in almost nightly. We're going to go on and also talk about their severe weather, just their weather forecast for them in general. Now let's go on and take a look at San Antonio first. Low temperatures tonight around 66, high temperature for tomorrow at around 91, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 66. Precipitation not expected at this time. In terms of severe weather, excessive rainfall, that's not expected for you either. And just for your future in general, it looks like you're going to be up in the 90s a good bit all the way throughout the rest of the week. And then as you go into next week, around 90 on Monday, 87 on Tuesday. And that precipitation chance does get there as well. We're at around 60% on Monday night for some rainfalls. And that's really like the only time, maybe except for a little bit on Sunday. It also will be a bit breezy as well. Winds will be gusting of up to 20, 30 miles an hour from Thursday all the way through into Saturday. Then for Raleigh, North Carolina, you have low temperatures tonight at 53, high temperature for tomorrow at 76, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 55. No precipitation as we go into tonight. Tomorrow, but you do have a chance of showers. You do indeed have a chance of showers as you go into tomorrow night. So make sure that you are aware there. Obviously, with that cold front moving through, that kind of does add it. You have a 40% chance there. Now for your future, does look like that you do have dry conditions after Wednesday, so I do believe that after you get through Thursday or so, nice and dry, nothing to worry about here. Then in terms of Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at around 49, high temperature for tomorrow at 79, and low temperatures tomorrow night at around 57. Precipitation not expected tonight or tomorrow, but showers are expected. Showers are expected as you get into tomorrow night, 80% chance of showers there. That will also kind of continue a little bit more as you get into Thursday, and those temperatures will also drop due to that cold front. We get into Friday, going into Saturday, temperatures will ramp back up, get back up into the 80s again, but Sunday 87, Monday in Philadelphia going to get up to around 90 degrees or so, so it's definitely going to be a lot warmer as you move into next week. No severe weather, no excessive rainfall for you. And then finally, for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 60, high temperature for tomorrow at 89, then low temperatures tomorrow night at 65. Precipitation not expected at this time. Next chance of rainfall will be probably around Saturday night. And speaking of Saturday night, you have a 20% chance of thunderstorms, and some of those thunderstorms could potentially be severe, so make sure that you have those severe weather plans in place with you so you know what you're going to do in a situation that you get a severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning, destructive severe thunderstorm warning, whatever it may be. Make sure that you're aware for it. And overall, just for your future, honestly, it just looks like that you are going to continue to go on and just stay warm. I mean, not only as you get throughout the weekend, but even as you go into next week. Still, it's going to be a bit cooler, maybe like the low 80s a little bit, but still, 80s are still pretty warm. Still very warm. And that's all that I have to say here for these 4 areas. So let's see what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. Well-scattered severe thunderstorms are possible across parts of the northern high plains Wednesday afternoon and evening. Severe winds are the primary hazards. Gusty winds and low relative humidity will also contribute to critical fire weather conditions across parts of the northern Great Plains and the Great Basin on Wednesday. So a lot of things going on here throughout the state. I believe there is an air quality alert. Yeah, air quality alert down there in San Antonio as well, where we were just talking about San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas. So make sure that you're aware if you're going to be out for long periods of time tonight. Let me go in and check out the chat. Let's see who won it. Mr. Chris did get it. Upstate was clear. So you did win top fan of the night for tonight. Malachi was there at second saying the upstate. So congratulations to the both of y'all, but Mr. Chris did get the number 1 spot for tonight. So congratulations to you. Honorable mentions, obviously being my Aunt Lula being there as well. So the 3 of y'all being included in that top fans of the night for tonight. And that's all I have to say here. Except for one more thing. and that is we do have a video. Remember, if you want to send me a weather video, anything atmosphere related, anything astrology related, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com, or you can send it in on Twitter at 360_weather. We had a video coming from Thad. He sent in two videos. Let's see. Both of them were just named thunderstorms. So we're going to go in and play both of them real quick, see what they have to say, see what they have to show here. And for the most part, this first one right here was taken, I mean, he sent me these kind of late. So this is around like 11 o'clock p.m. when he sent this. And it definitely is dark. So let me see if I can get some volume on this real quick. See if it even has volume to it. Yes, it does. So yeah, that's the first video that he sent me here. And then he also sent me in another one. Let me just put you over on the what's on tap screen. Here's the second one. Also just says thunderstorms. Yeah, this one's in his backyard instead. Here goes with some audio right here. So thanks, Dad, so much for this video. Remember, you can send it in to me at scweather360@gmail.com. And that's all I have to say here for tonight. And speaking of that, just showed up. He says, "Good evening, Joseph. I trust all is well." Well, all is well. Thank you so much for the video that you sent in a night or two ago. It was around 11 o'clock when you sent it, so obviously we were out. But thank you nonetheless. And that's all that I have to say. If you did not see your forecast, here it was for you right here. 66, high tomorrow 91, low of tomorrow night around 66, and no precipitation is expected for you at this time. That's all. If you have not hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so. Hit the subscribe button. We're at 732, trying to get to 800. And then also share. Share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people that you don't talk to regularly, because it's free. It is free. It is free. And you know you can always share as many times as you want. No charge at all. This will always be free. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Wednesday morning forecast update. Also tomorrow evening with your Wednesday evening forecast update, 9 o'clock. Make sure that you're there for that. And we'll be halfway done with the week tomorrow.